Spongebob SquarePants, Squidward's Dark Secret. Hey guys, welcome back to Laffy Tunes. Squidward J Tentacles is a character famous for his big nose, array of artistic abilities, and overall negative attitude on Spongebob SquarePants. He works with and lives next to the main character, Spongebob SquarePants, and the relationship between these two characters is very interesting. There are small moments throughout the show where they seem to genuinely get along. However, for the majority of the series, they do not like each other. SpongeBob does see Squidward as a friend, but Squidward is constantly being annoyed by SpongeBob antics. Now, that made us wonder, why doesn't Squidward quit his job, sell his house, and move as far away as he can from SpongeBob? Well, in simple terms, he can't. This is because SpongeBob's family is actually paying Squidward to look after SpongeBob. Let's explore this theory a bit more deeper in today's video. So the main question you may be wondering is, why would Squidward need to look after SpongeBob? Well, for many years people have speculated that SpongeBob may have a form of autism and was for a long time living under the care of his family, that is until his parents thought it would be a good idea for SpongeBob to live on his own so that he can be more independent. They bought him a brand new house and hired Squidward, the next door neighbor at the time, to watch over SpongeBob and make sure he's doing okay. This sounds like a cool theory, but where's the proof? Well, let's explain. SpongeBob autism. When you begin to examine SpongeBob's behavior, it does seem plausible that SpongeBob may have an autism. This is a list of autistic traits that people claim SpongeBob exhibits, but before we continue, we just want to acknowledge that this list doesn't represent all autistic people, as autism is a wide spectrum and people with autism express themselves in various ways. That being said, one of the most obvious traits that SpongeBob displays is his inability to read social cues throughout the show. SpongeBob isn't really good at recognizing people's emotions. He doesn't understand that he annoys Squidward, nor does he realize when Squidward gets angry at him. SpongeBob also struggles to control his emotions, which is another trait of autism. He often becomes upset or frightened about very small things. SpongeBob also seems to take things very literally, not understanding metaphorical language. For example, in the episode Squid on Strike, Squidward tells SpongeBob that he wants to dismantle oppressions board by board, which SpongeBob takes it literally as he begins to destroy the Krusty Krab. Many autistic people also have a special interest, which is basically an area of their life that they feel extremely passionate for. In SpongeBob's case, that's fry cooking, a job that many people would hate to do, but SpongeBob seems overly fixated on, even becoming upset when he's unable to flip those juicy patties. So, as you can see by this, SpongeBob exhibits various traits of autism. Now, if you're still not convinced that SpongeBob may be autistic, the voice of SpongeBob himself, Tom Kenny, says that SpongeBob is in fact a little bit autistic. Now that we've established that SpongeBob is autistic, let's find out why Squidward was chosen to look after SpongeBob and why he even agreed to it, because he obviously hates being around SpongeBob. Well, it's a long story. In the episode Ugh, we see primitive versions of SpongeBob, Squidward, and Patrick getting up to nautical nonsense. This mostly focuses around them discovering fire. The episode is really important as it shows that SpongeBob and Squidward's family have known each other for a very long time. But this isn't the only time we see SpongeBob and Squidward's family interact throughout the time in the episode. Dancers and dragons, we see their families interacting in medieval time, and in the episode Pass of the West, we see their families interacting once again back in the Wild Wild West. So it's safe to assume that with such a long history, the two families would be extremely close, meaning Squidward most definitely knows SpongeBob's family and might even feel an obligation to help them look after SpongeBob. But now you may be wondering, why don't we see Squidward interact with SpongeBob families in the show if he's helping them? Well, we actually do, but it's not as obvious as you think. In the episode SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout, we see Squidward and SpongeBob parents attend a party for SpongeBob, so we definitely know they are interacted. In the episode Grandma's Kisses, it is revealed that Squidward even knows the locations of SpongeBob's grandma's house as he listens on their conversation. But the best proof doesn't come from the TV show, but a comic strip titled Great Grandma, released by Nickelodeon. In the comic, SpongeBob invites Squidward to visit his grandma's house, when Squidward replies that he will come if she doesn't play any of her corny music. How does Squidward know what types of music SpongeBob's grandma plays if he hasn't visited her before? Later in the comics, Squidward ends up visiting SpongeBob's grandma and even states that he wants to visit her again without SpongeBob because they both share the same interests and get along very well. Here is solid evidence that Squidward and SpongeBob's family have definitely interacted in some ways or another. However, there doesn't seem to be enough evidence to prove that they have talked specifically about looking after SpongeBob, but the lack of evidence may be evidence itself. So if it's true that SpongeBob's parent hired Squidward to look after SpongeBob, they wouldn't want SpongeBob knowing because the whole point of it is to make SpongeBob feel independent, and since the show is based on SpongeBob's perspective, it wouldn't make sense that we don't see much evidence of this happening in the show, as it's trying to be hidden from SpongeBob. Now that we've established that Squidward and SpongeBob parents are working together, we now have to figure out why Squidward even agrees to look after SpongeBob. We have seen Squidward's house get demolished many times throughout the show. However, he continues to rebuild his house in the same spot every time next to SpongeBob. Wouldn't it be much cheaper and better for Squidward's mental health to rebuild his house somewhere else? Well, it is revealed that SpongeBob's parents are actually quite rich. For example, in the episode Snow Free Ride, we see SpongeBob parents give SpongeBob a brand new boatmobile as a gift. So if SpongeBob parents have that a lot of money, it's not impossible that they are paying Squidward to look after SpongeBob. Both Squidward and SpongeBob work at the Krusty Krab, and as we can see throughout the show, Mr. Krab is extremely greedy and likes to pay his employee the bare minimum, receiving barely any money from Mr. Krabs. You may be wondering how SpongeBob and Squidward can even afford to live. They both have nice houses, lots of furniture, and endless amounts of food. It would make sense that SpongeBob's parents are giving them both money to support themselves. This would also explain why Squidward does the bare minimum at work, because most of his money comes from looking after SpongeBob, who works with him. There you have it. This is Squidward's dark secret. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.